Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koramore Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shri Vasadi Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Ananta Kari Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Vande Rupa Sanatana Ragayago Shri Jiva Gopalago. Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalago 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 So Hare Krishna. Oh. Thank you. So tonight we want to talk about Rupa Goswami's Hansaduta. It's an interesting book written by Srila Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is, of course, very important to us because Rupa Goswami is the principal Acharya coming in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes we are called, our tradition is called Rupanuga, or the tradition that follows Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami is really the first Acharya who gave the teachings that we are following. Because although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the origin of the teachings of this movement, based on Srimad Bhagavatam, still it was Rupa Goswami who wrote it down, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't write books. So Rupa Goswami actually wrote many literatures. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion, is for us, of course, practically like a handbook for Krishna consciousness. There it is exactly described what to do, what not to do, how devotees behave, how they chant, how they bow down, how they follow Ekadasi. All these things are elaborately described. Today we're reading from another book from Rupa Goswami. Sometimes it is said that this was the first book that he ever wrote, namely the Hansaduta, or Sri Hansaduta. Duta means messenger and Hansa means swan. So the swan messenger. Now, it is said that the first poet in West Bengal who wrote, or in Bengal in those days, there was no West and East in Bengal, who wrote such a work about a messenger was the Meghaduta, written by Kalidas, who was a famous poet. And he wrote it way before Rupa Goswami. And he used the concept of a cloud that was going as a messenger between two personalities that had become separated. And then he's just addressing that cloud, and that the cloud may go as a messenger. Later, the Vaishnavas, they really took up this style of writing dramas or literatures, poems based on the Duta theme, on the messenger theme. For example, there was one poet who was actually related to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His name was Vishnudas, and he wrote a work called the Hansaduta. So the Hansaduta is describing how the mind became a messenger between Krishna and the devotee. So that's quite interesting, and also for our discussion today, that will be interesting. Imagine that your mind had to become a messenger between you and Krishna. Well, is the mind ready? No. Is the mind exactly in the appropriate condition to go before Krishna? Not really. I mean, the things that are in the mind. So, for the mind to become a messenger to go to Krishna, some adjustments will have to be made. So that's an interesting approach, the Hansaduta, the mind as a messenger. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami is writing the Hansaduta. A swan becomes the messenger. And we will begin to read a little bit from the text, and then we'll take it from there. In just a moment, I have to start up the electronics. And I cannot multitask. It's impossible. So either I talk or either I am computering, and multitasking usually means both things go wrong. Okay. Here we are. Coming. Ho, library. Is it? Oh, I have to go to the R. Raghunath Rupa Goswami. Sri Hansaduta looks good. Hope that it's the right one. There are two, namely. Yeah, it is the right one with the Sanskrit and everything. Fine. So I will chant some Sanskrit verses also, although we may not know the Sanskrit, but it sounds very nice. Dukulam bibrano dalita haritala juti baram. Aha, start again. Just put it down on yes. All are in safe position now. Telephones are switched off, yes, please, before takeoff. Would be really nice. Highly appreciate. It kind of disturbs the navigation, you know, of the plane. Dukulam bibrano dalita haritala juti baram java puspa sreni ruchi ruchira padam bujatala tamala shamango darahasita lilansita mukha parananda boga spurito ridi meko pupi purushaha. May a certain blissful person in splendid yellow silk garments, the sole of his lotus feet, glorious as a host of red roses, his form dark as a tamil tree, and his mouth playfully curved in a gentle smile, appear in my heart. So, here in this first verse, Krishna is described as the Parananda Purusha, as a blissful person. So it is very nice that Krishna is described as a supremely blissful person. Because sometimes our Krishna consciousness becomes too much covered over by a sense of duty, a sense of routine, a sense where we are struggling to just stay within the narrow boundaries of rules and regulations year after year, as life goes through its curves. But then here, may a certain blissful person, Krishna is a blissful person, a person who gives pleasure upon seeing. Anything that we get connected to with Krishna automatically brings pleasure. Automatically. It is not difficult. Therefore Bhagavad Gita also says in Chatu Sloki, Matchita Matgata Prana Bodhiyantas Parasparam Katiyantas Chamam Nicha Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha Chup Chup Chup. Yes, somehow or other we have to keep it, the little darling, sweet, otherwise he needs some fresh air. What to do? So the Hansaduta begins, Rupa Goswami prays, let that blissful personality be manifest, may he appear in my heart. Yes, in that way, we understand what is Krishna consciousness. Turn to Krishna, and there is a taste. There is no, find out about Krishna, and there is taste. We should not forget that we are involved with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, not with the International Society for Rules and Regulations. See, sometimes we get so involved in focusing on rules and regulations and we forget Krishna in the process. But actually, the rules and regulations follow Krishna. It is Krishna who is our subject matter. It is Krishna who is the one who is interesting to us. Let us carry on. Yada yato gopiridya madano nanda sadanan mukundo gandinyas tanayam manuvindam madhupurim tadamang chitchinta sariti ganaguna parichayir agadayam badamaya payasi radha virahini. At the request of Akrura, Krishna and Balaram left the house of Nanda Maharaj for Mathura. At that time, Srimati Radharani's mind was disrupted and she became almost mad because of extreme separation from Krishna. She experienced great mental pain and agitation, which caused her to drown in mental speculation in the river of anxiety. So yes, here we see Srimati Radharani is now the topmost devotee in separation from Krishna, since Krishna has been taken away. I mean, every devotee is in separation from Krishna, since Krishna was taken by the son of Gandhini, Akrura. As Akrura took Krishna away to Mathura, it began. Vrindavan just became plunged into separation. Oh, the children. I mean, really. It's very difficult for me to concentrate. I am so sorry. You please forgive. No, it's okay. You please forgive me, but what to do? I can't concentrate. Yeah. One day, when Srimati Radharani was feeling much affliction because of her separation from Krishna, she went to the bank of the Yamuna with some of her friends. There Radharani saw a cottage wherein she and Krishna had experienced many loving pleasures. And by remembering those incidents, she immediately became overcome with dizziness and she fainted. And unconsciousness gave her some relief for a few moments. So then the remaining gopis were very concerned. She had fallen unconscious on the ground. They weren't even sure if she was alive or what. So they immediately made a bed of cooling lotus leaves. And Radharani was laid down on that bed on the bank of the river Yamuna. And they fanned her with lotuses that were kind of dipped in Yamuna water, so they were cooling. So in this way, they were hoping to bring her to a consciousness. Meanwhile, as she was being fanned. There was some breath, and her watching friends made a joyful sound. At that stage, Lalita went to the Yamuna, and there on the shore, as she came to the Yamuna's shore, she saw a graceful and a beautiful white swan paddling in her direction. And then we continue. Tadalokastukachvasitaridiya sadaram aso pranamam sansanti lagu lagu samasadya savidam dritotkanta sajo hiri sadasi sandesa harane varam dutam menetam antilalitam hantalalita. Her heart, encouraged by seeing the swan, anxious Lalita cautiously approached it, respectedly bowed before it and praised it. She thought the graceful swan an ideal messenger to carry a letter to Lord Hari's assembly. Amrisat premre shyam sapadi dadati kansamatane pravritta hansya swam abhilasitam samsitam aso natasya dosayam yat iha vigaham pratitavati nakasmin visrambam disati hari bhakti pranayita. Wrapped in the anger of love for Krishna, she told the swan of her desires. She's not at fault for speaking to a bird. Where will a girl overcome with Lord for Lord Hari not place her faith? Yes, she placed her faith in the swan as a messenger. Who could be so foolish? Yes, but her hope to find some solution was so intense that yes, she approached a swan. Pavitresu prayo virachayasi toyesu vasatim pramodam nalike vahasi visadatma swayamasi atoham dukaharta sharanam abalatvam gatavati nayancha shatpakse vrajati kadachit vivalatam. You live in pure waters. You find happiness among the lotus stems. Your heart is pure. For this reason, I, a very unhappy woman, take shelter of you. A request to a saintly person is never fruitless. So that is nice. Lalita is seeing this swan is not an ordinary person, because this swan is swimming in the Yamuna, in sacred waters. Its food is lotus stems. In other words, this is the behavior of a pure person, of a saintly person, because saintly persons stay in places of purity and their habits are also pure. They will eat appropriate things. And a saintly person is the perfect person to take shelter of, because a saintly person will never refuse any request. So, nice mood. And we see here, we're learning something here. A request to a saintly person is never fruitless. Vivalatam. Yeah, so we should be saintly persons. Such saintly persons. We should, and therefore we can see we have to develop this mood of that a request to us never is fruitless. In other words, we must be able to we must give ourselves generously to the well-being of others, and we must give them, we must deliver the goods. We must live the life of purity, pure in habits, well connected to a place of purity, like the temple. And then, yes, then we can be saintly persons. Then we can be messengers. Then we can be eligible to be messengers of Krishna's devotees. Chiram, okay, sorry, I have to pick it up, otherwise I can't see it proper. Chiram vismritayasman viraha dahana jalavikala kalavan sanandam vasati maturayam maduripu taretam sandesam swamanasi samadhya nikilam bhavan ksipram tasya sravana padavin sangamayatu. Forgetting us, who are tormented by the flames of separation from him, artistic Krishna happily lives in Mathura. So, why is it mentioned artistic Krishna? Because that is Krishna. He is Vidakta Madhava, artistic Krishna. He dresses artistic, he plays his flute very expertly. He is like that, one who knows many arts and who has appreciation for the arts. Therefore, he naturally is enjoying it in a place like Mathura, where things are very refined. It is a beautiful city, very ornamental and beautifully decorated, great opulence, and especially the ladies in Mathura. They are not village ladies, no, they are city ladies. They are well dressed and their hands are fine and they are beautifully decorated with so many wonderful ornaments and so on. I mean, yes. Artistic Krishna surely will appreciate all these things very much. In this way, it's not surprising. It's not surprising that he didn't come back from Mathura. It was to be expected. It was to be expected, really, if you think about it. Right? In hindsight, everyone can understand logically that he stays there in Mathura. And meanwhile he forgets us, completely forgetting us, who are tormented by the flames of separation from him. How can he be so cruel? He went with Akrura, that most cruel person whose name says non-cruel, one who is not cruel. The most cruel person. And he himself also showed similar qualities. One knows a man by his company. Nirasta prajuham bhavatu bhavato vartmani shivam samuttista ksipram manasi mudam adhyasadhyam adastadavanto lagulaka samuta nayaner bhavantam vikshantam kutakatarala gopi shisavaha. May all obstacles be cast aside. May your path be easy, placing happiness and mercy in your heart. Rise at once. The running and playing Gopa boys will gaze at you with wide open eyes. So Lalita is now not only praising the swan anymore, she begins to instruct the swan what to do. She begins to treat the swan like her messenger. It is interesting because we do the same. We do the same, or devotees do the same. You can see, Srila Prabhupada just started to treat different young people and started to engage him as his messengers and his representatives. They didn't know how to be. In the same way we are engaged. Therefore, the swan, when we are looking at the story, we can recognize our own position in the position of the swan. And how the swan is the disciple, and how the swan is to be the messenger, and how the swan has to be therefore transparent. The swan has to be a servant. A messenger has to bring across the points that he has received, not his own. Not his own. No, not your own. No, not your own ideas. No. Oh, my dear swan, do not be stubborn. My dear swan, no, it's not what you think. No, my dear swan, it's what you've heard. It's what you've heard. So listen carefully. Oh, yes. First of all, blessings upon you so that you can go on your mission. May all obstacles be cast aside. What a beginning. We begin with blessings, see? It was otherwise a very difficult journey, but now blessings are there. May your path be easy. And then, not only externally that all blessings may be there and obstacles may be cast aside and so on, and that your path may be easy, that's not enough. That's not enough for a blessing. No. Placing happiness and mercy in your heart. See, it is also internally. It is also a matter of internally having this happiness. Otherwise, how can we spread Krishna consciousness? No one will listen to one who is giving transcendental knowledge, but who is not carrying happiness in the heart. So many may lecture us. Yes, you must follow this, otherwise you will get great reactions. Very serious. No, I'm telling you. Yes, you fool. You don't listen to me. You're laughing. You're just laughing while I'm saying these important things. You're not taking it serious. In this way, so easily, are we lectured and we say, yeah, very nice, yes, please. How long is this going to last? When will he be finished with his lecture? But when one speaks with love in the heart, with realization, what love? Love for Krishna. Then it becomes meaningful. When there's happiness, placing happiness and mercy in your heart. See, Lalita understood completely. She's the pure devotee. She's the pure devotee representative of the topmost devotee. So she knows that one needs happiness and mercy in the heart. Rise at once. Yes, then everyone will become enlivened by your association. Then your message will be successful. Savai dagdi sindhu katina matina dana patina yaya ninye turnam pasupa juvati jivanapati tayakantavya tenikila jagreka pratitaya padavya bhavyanam tilaka kilada saranagari. O tilak of the saintly devotees, taking the paths famous in all the worlds by which hard-hearted Akrura quickly took away the ocean of handsomeness that rules the young gopis' lives, go to the city of the Dasarhas, Dasaranagari, which is Mathura. So in other words, the path that Krishna went. Take the path that Krishna went. So again, this is very interesting. If we just look at anywhere where Krishna went, immediately we are connecting with Krishna. Just go the path that Krishna went. It continues a little bit more on this topic, to go the path that Krishna went. Let's see. Oops. No, I don't see it yet, but it's coming. Gada Basparas. No, to make it big again. I cannot see it. Galad Baspasara Plutadavala Gandamrigadrisu Vijante Yatrapabala Madanavesa Vivasaha Twaya Vigyatavya Haricharana Sangapranayino Dhruvam Sa Chakrangirati Sakasantangasya Padavi. O passionate lover of your swan maid, go by the path of the chariot touched by Lord Hari's feet, a path where the deer-eyed gopis, a flood of tears streaming down their pale cheeks, were tortured by Kamadev. Lalita is considering that possibly the swan cannot fully understand the depth of Radharani's spiritual emotions. After all, Vaishnavira Kriya Vikya Nabujaya. One cannot know the spiritual emotions of the superior Vaishnava. How can we know what a great and superior Vaishnava is going through? We don't know. what they're feeling. Therefore, how can the swan really understand what Srimati Radharani is experiencing? Therefore, Lalita brings it down as an expert preacher. She understands to preach not only dry philosophy, but she understands that philosophy must be brought down to where a person is. And that you must relate it to the reality where the person is in. Therefore, O passionate lover of your swan mate. Yes, this swan is obviously not alone. Swans in this world are generally not alone. That's how it goes. Therefore, this one is just like every other swan, and you know how it is with swans. There's a swan mate and so many others. Therefore, Lalita is saying, so as you love your own mate, in that same way you can understand what Radharani is going through. Therefore be merciful and compassionate. So she's trying to invoke some compassion to motivate the swan again, just in case the swan has some doubts about being a messenger. Just as we are trying to say, no, you should give your life to Krishna. There's no other purpose than that. You think, yes, but what will my parents say? Yeah, when I tell them. So yeah, it's nice being a messenger of Krishna, but I have a family, and how will they take it? Imagine, and I tell them back home, I've become a swan. Oh no, oh God, I've always been afraid of it. Yes, says your father, it's been one of my biggest worries, that one day you would become a swan, and now it happened. And and you're jumping up and down in Swanston Street. Oh my God. Yes. Piban jambu sayam mihira duhitur vari maduram mrinali bunjana imikara kala kamala ruchaha Ksanam ristas tistan nibida vitape sakini sake Sukhena prastanam rachayatu bhavan vrishninagare. Sip the sweet, jambu dark Yamuna water. Eat some lotus stems, soft and splendid as moonlight. For a moment, rest under a great tree. And then, O friend, happily go to the city of the Vrishnis. Yes. The spiritual path is certainly where the messenger is meant to bring pleasure to the one who has sent him. But that's not all there is. Certainly we are a servant of Krishna. And Rishikena Rishikeva Sevanam Bhaktiruchate. We are not serving our own senses, we're serving the senses of Krishna. All right? But what about our own senses? No problem at all. No problem at all. Because, you see, the path is very sweet. It is very nice. It's very inspiring. There is sweet Jambu dark Yamuna water. You can taste it. Very sweet. Soft lotus stems on the way also. Very, very tasty. Very pleasurable experience. Susukam kartamavyayam, Bhagavad Gita says, that the process of devotional service is joyfully performed. It's not just that we are following orders and living a life of sacrifice only. All right, do I have to be a messenger? Do I have to sacrifice everything? All my own ideas and desires to be the messenger of someone else? But what about me? It's my life. And already first my parents, they told me to do this, they told me to do that. Society, they told me to do this, they told me to that. My teachers, they told me to do this, they told me to do that. But what about me? When can I finally do what I want? It's my life and I do what I want. Yes, no. What about? No, you must be a messenger. Yes, but if I become a messenger, then I just have to give up myself. But how can I? I'm still young. Don't worry. There is sweet, Jambu dark Yamuna water. Eat some lotus stems, soft and splendid as moonlight. And for a moment rest under a great tree. So there is pleasure on the spiritual path for us also. Because by satisfying the senses of Krishna, we automatically come into another dimension. A dimension that satisfies us deeply. So it's not that we will miss out. So this verse is basically establishing, we're not missing out by taking to Krishna consciousness. There is this inherent fear in all of us that, yes, but if I'm going to really take up this Krishna consciousness, I'm going to miss out. Yeah, so many things I'm going to miss out. I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep on coming to the temple as a guest. How much is it to be a life member? Maybe it's better to be a life member than to be an initiated devotee, really. Yes. Then you get 3 days free in every temple. As a devotee, you have to do service. See? And after 3 days, you go to the next temple. No problem. Easy. Yes. Yes, but then you will not get the sweetness. You will not enter. If you don't enter into that dimension of service, you will also not enter into that dimension of sweetness. Okay. So we will not miss out. We will not miss out. We will gain. Yes. And then Balat akradanti ratapatikam akrura militam vidurata biritatir anuyayuyena ramanam tamadopantanam rachaya charitarta bhavatute virajanti sarvupari paramahansistitirayam. Fly over the path where the passionately crying gopis followed their lover as he went on Akrura's chariot, and you will become the greatest of swans. See? So just go on that path of Krishna and you'll become the greatest of swans. And here Srila Rupa Goswami obviously is playing with words, because as he says, greatest of swans, that translates into Paramahansa. Paramahansa means the topmost devotee, because the swan chosen by Rupa Goswami as a messenger is an interesting model, because swans, so it is stated in the Vedic literature, swans are unique in the sense that if you take milk and you throw it in water, then the swans have the ability to separate the milk from the water. So in this way, the swan is the model for one who has the ability to separate spirit from matter. And that even although they are in the material world, they will not take any material things. They'll only take the spiritual essence out in every situation and leave the material things aside. And then that is the topmost one, the Paramahansa, who will take only devotional service to Krishna in this world, and everything else, they will not touch it. And they will not become contaminated. They will not drink any of the material water along with the transcendental milk. Just see, Paramahansas. So, how to become such a Paramahansa if one simply follows that path that Krishna went to Mathura? That path. As we go that path in our mind for a moment now, thinking about it, we appreciate that path is a path where at the beginning the residents of Vrindavan are in great separation from Krishna. Who are these residents of Vrindavan? That they have such attachment to Krishna that even not being with Krishna for a moment is too much for them. Where do they get such intense attachment to Krishna? When we are struggling to be Krishna conscious. When for us Krishna consciousness is like somehow or other, we believe in it, but how to do it? I mean, how to every day, how to remain motivated. Yeah, in the beginning everything is easy, but over time, for a lifetime, how to remain, how to keep this for a lifetime, even when the circumstances change. Today we are here, Melbourne, oh, nice temple, and many of you are from actually a foreign origin, right? Many of you are foreigners in this country, like me. I'm a foreigner here. So, you know, when I'm in Australia, I can do any damn thing because everybody is far away back home. Of course, these days with Facebook, you have to watch out. Everybody knows everybody. But still, you sort of far away from home. What can they tell you? But what if you suddenly be back? Back, and the whole family is putting pressure. Then what? Then will you still be putting tilak? And would you still keep all these kanti malas around your neck? Or would you slowly take one off, two off, and forget to put them on one day? It is not easy to kind of remain like that. So how do we remain transcendental? That is the question. That is the question. The answer is given by Rupa Goswami, by following the path of Krishna. In other words, following the life of Krishna, following the instructions of Krishna, following the activities of Krishna. By reading about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, remembering Krishna, then the more we get focused on Krishna, then we can be Paramahansas. Then we can change. Then we can not be ordinary swans, but then we can be transcendental swans. The ordinary swans, plenty of them. So maybe we have a moment of your input in this seminar. So we've set the scene here. You have more or less get an idea of what is happening here. Rupa Goswami is describing about the transcendental messenger. Rupa Goswami is depicting the transcendental reality, the reality of the spiritual world and the depth of the eternal associates of Krishna. I have brought it down to this world. I've taken the same explanation and brought it down to this world and have pointed out that we are meant to be messengers. And this parallel, I will keep on following that in this seminar. So as we're reading the Hansaduta, we will look at the eternal reality of Radha, Krishna and the gopis, the spiritual world, but we will also look at the parallel in our own situation. Because after all, the swan is just like us, an outsider. He's an outsider, but he's chosen by the devotees. The same with us. We might think, well, I came to Krishna consciousness out of my own choice. That's what you think. But actually, behind your own choice was a devotee. There was a devotee who desired it and who prayed and who somehow or other made some arrangement. So, well, no. The devotees never spoke to me. It's like in my case, I could say the devotees were distributing books, but they could never distribute one to me. They never even stopped me in the street. They never managed to stop me. I just kept on walking, looking into uninterested. over their shoulder. Never make eye contact with the Hare Krishna. I knew that. Look over their shoulder, into space, and keep on walking. They never stopped me. Even the so-called export book distributors couldn't stop me. But then I found a book on the shelf of a friend. And I saw that. I said, hey, can I borrow that book? He said, oh, you can have it. I never read it. Okay, thanks. Bhagavad Gita as it is. I wonder what that's all about. Oh, I know all this. Yeah. Nothing new. Nothing new. I know all this. I used to think. Now when I read Bhagavad Gita, I think that I don't understand very much, but I'm trying. So any questions, any comments so far? A little louder.
Thank you, Maharaj. Anyone can be a Paramahansa?
But can anyone be a Paramahansa? Why not? Actually, Paramahansa is the natural condition of the living being. So it's like, it's a miracle that we're not Paramahansas. Because the constitutional, normal position of the soul is to be Paramahansa. So rather, when a Paramahansa would come down from the spiritual world and would look around and say, how is it possible that all these Paramahansas have become like this? Can a Paramahansa become an ordinary swan like from Swanson Street? Yes. So we are Paramahansas. We cannot become Paramahansas. We are. And somehow or other, now it has become covered. Our eternal condition is Paramahansa. It's only temporary. I'm from Delhi. Yes. Karol Bagh. Yes. Yes. Oh, very good. Yes. No, only now. Only now from Karol Bagh. Not eternally from Karol Bagh. You are genetically from Karol Bagh. Yes, your whole existence is typical for Karol Bagh. You are from Karol Bagh. You are completely like that. That's your identity. That's who you are. This is Boma Ijjati. This is the bodily concept of life. So we are due to the illusory energy. What is Maya? Maya is that we think that we are this body. That is Maya. Sometimes it is said that there is the illusory energy. And then people think, oh, that means the whole world is illusion, it's all false. No. Actually, illusory energy, Maya, means that we think the body to be the self. I'm from Karol Bagh. Delhi se. Karol Bagh se. Very good. 7 generations. No, all that is actually false identity. Boma Ijjati. And it is said those who adhere to that false identification, they are compared to Saiva Kukara, hogs, dogs, camels and asses, says Bhagavatam. So, no, that's not our natural consciousness. Our natural consciousness is Paramahansa. So, everyone can be Paramahansa. No problem at all. And that's also the idea. The idea is that all of us should become Paramahansa. Why not? No one should stay behind. Everyone should come to that level. But in order to do that, we have to be willing to change. The swan has to be willing to change. If the swan is not ready to change, how can he be a messenger? So the swan has to first, but the swan may think, well, I'm perfectly qualified to be a messenger. I'm a natural. It's just me. Yeah, I was meant for this. I knew it all along. It's no wonder that Lalita immediately saw it. As soon as she saw me, she knew that I was the right person. Yes, I've always known it myself, and of course, Lalita also knew it. Therefore, I don't have to change. I'm already there. I'm great. I'm wonderful. I tell you, I'm already a Paramahansa. I always was a Paramahansa, actually. Sort of a sleeping Paramahansa, but I just woke up. Yes. No. We should, to become a messenger, to become an appropriate candidate for Paramahansa, we must be ready to become humble and to say, oh, I am full of fault, actually. I have to make many, many adjustments. The way I am, in the way I'm thinking, it has to be adjusted. In the way I'm speaking, it has to be adjusted. In the way I am going from here and there, it has to be adjusted. All the things I do actually need adjustment. I do everything wrong. I speak wrong, I eat wrong, I listen to the wrong things. In all my dealings, they're wrong. Unless we begin there, how can we change? See, as long as you think, look, I'm doing everything right, perfectly, but maybe I have a few faults. No, I do have faults. I'm not perfect. No, I'm not. I have faults. Very small. And I'm working on it. I'm working on it to adjust that. And then I hope to reach perfection. Then how can we be a messenger? So to become Paramahansa, we must be ready to make that first step. I'm full of fault. And all my ways I have to adjust. Everything has to change. Everything, every aspect of my life needs to be improved. How I sleep, how I eat, how I talk, how I walk, how I use my phone, what I do on the internet. I have to purify my computer. I think I have to delete a few files. Maybe a few directories. I think I have to stop surfing to certain sites. Like that. Everything has to be purified. Unless we have that attitude, how can we become Paramahansa? Other question?
When you got the Bhagavad Gita from a friend, did you know that this is a book from Hare Krishna?
Not when I took it from the shelf. When I took it from the shelf, I didn't quite know it was from Hare Krishna, but when I looked at it, then I realized it pretty quick. Yeah, I mean, at first I took it from the shelf, looks interesting, took it, got it already, then I looked, oh, it's Hare Krishna. So after a little later I realized it. But I kept it anyway, and I was just going to India. So it's just on the way to India, and I'd been to India before, and I went on the way to India, and I thought, oh, that's a good book to read when I'm in India. So I didn't mind that it was from Hare Krishna. I thought, it's okay. It's like, it's a book, it's the book of India, so let me read it since I'm going to India. That will be good. Then I was with the Tibetan Buddhists sitting there in Maglaud Ganj, Dharamsala in the Himalayas, and they were, and I wanted to speak to an old Lama, but he was not interested to talk to me. He just ignored me. I thought, why is this man so impersonal? Then I opened the Bhagavad Gita and I read about impersonalists. See, so the Gita was connecting with me. It was Krishna made arrangement that it connected with my life. That's now you're changing the seminar to other seminar. I will give that another time. It's a long story. Yeah. But basically, to make it really short, I told you I would never take a book. Then I had a girlfriend, got a girlfriend, and she had a dog named Krishna. And then at night I was walking with this dog, Krishna, Krishna, and this dog wouldn't come back. So I would call out very loud, Krishna, Krishna. So I would do Harinam every night. Then it comes. That's a short version. But back to the Hansaduta today. Yes.
Why do we get the encouragement and enthusiasm to or desire to become
a swan? Yeah, well, you know, many of us are crows, right? And we've been crows for a long time. And, you know, Prabhupada said, new crows and old crows, right? Said the old crows, they've been eating the garbage for a long time, and then when the new crows come, they're even more enthusiastic to eat the garbage. So we are crows for a long time. So we get sick from all that garbage. So, and in a way, although we may, you know, in a way that position of a crow may have been a misfit. You know what I mean? Like I basically went to a school of crows. What can I say? That was what was happening at the school. There was one boy, he was older, and he had a bowler hat and a briefcase. And he was carrying drugs into the school. And there was a small group of boys, they would meet somewhere in a hidden corner on the side of the property, and they were smoking something. And if you were with them, whew, that was special. Wanna try? Nah. We don't do such things, of course. But when you're in a school of crows, and you're young, it can so easily bring out the crow in us, because there is a crow and a swan in us. That is the thing. But still, even if one lives with the crows and takes up some of the ways of the crows with time, still, it's not a perfect fit. We felt a little incomplete. At least I did. I even wrote a song, and the song was, I'm nothing but a stranger, always around. I'm nothing but a seeker for what I've never found. So I felt I don't really belong here. I'm here, but I don't belong in this world. I did some of the things of the world, but I didn't feel a sense of belonging. And therefore, I was a stranger. And because I was a stranger, therefore, when these strange people came, these strange swans appeared in my town, I was scared of them, but at the same time, a little interested, although I was hiding it from my friends. I didn't want to show anyone that I was too interested in Hare Krishna. Imagine what people would say. But I was. So I didn't mind that Bhagavad Gita was a Hare Krishna book, actually. I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was interesting. So in this way, I once was on a bus, and I was still young, and the bus was full, and there was an empty seat next to me, and then a Hare Krishna comes on the bus. Oh my God, I saw him, and I knew he's going to sit next to me. And sure enough, he comes my direction. I went into the wall of the bus. He sat next to me, and he looked at me, and he thought, oh no, a karmi. And I looked, oh no, a Hare Krishna. And we looked at each other, and that was really it. He never gave me an invitation to the Sunday feast. If he would have given, maybe I would have gone. Maybe I would have gone to the temple so many years earlier. But he didn't give me that invitation, you see. Because he thought, that guy, he will never be interested. Never. But I was. Because I was not happy. So I think that the first point is this, is that many people are not happy in their material lives, not at all. And therefore many people are open, they are candidates, as we were. And no matter how they're dressed, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, whether they have spikes, up to the ceilings on their head, right? And it doesn't matter what they look like. You'd be surprised, right? You'd be surprised who can take it. You'd be surprised. Because it's all external. Whether it's a businessman with a tie who looks so important, you never know. Why not? So we were like that. Then we come to the point where we take it up, at least take some interest to hear the devotee. And the devotee has potency. Lalita, right, just bumped into the swan. And the swan was attracted to Lalita because it came in the direction of Lalita. And then what did Lalita do? Lalita very expertly begins to deal with the swan. It's not just like a ton of bricks. Hey, you swan, you gotta be a messenger. What are you doing? You're wasting your life. Oh no. Lalita first bowed down. See? She bowed down. She just flattered the swan. She just appreciated the good qualities in the swan. And therefore the swan felt appreciated. And there was a connection. And then the swan was being led along with different incentives. You go and you get this, you follow this path and you get sweet jumbo fruit like Yamuna water. So, incentives also. So like that, alone we're never going to make it. We're not going to make it alone. That's why, sooner or later a devotee begins to look for a spiritual master. It becomes an issue because we just feel alone. Alone I can't do it. I just need someone who is more inspired than me. That's the key, I need someone who's more inspired than me to kind of keep me on this path. Otherwise, I'm not going to stay on this. Somehow or other, I got the initial inspiration to get on the path, but now, to stay on it, I need someone who's more inspired than me. Then I will stay. That makes the difference. That's where the spiritual master is important, you see, because we can see he is somehow or other more inspired about Krishna than we are. So where does he get it from? How can he be so inspired? God, I'm like, we are struggling and, trying. And it's like we want it, but it's at the same time not easy. And then he's totally blissful. How is it? So much energy, never stops. Just when it comes to spiritual things, just full of inspiration. We need that kind of association. Then we'll go. So this is spiritual life. One has to. So the connection with Lalita was obviously essential. Otherwise, the swan. Do you think the swan would have gone all the way to Mathura? Come on. The swan would paddle a little bit on the Yamuna and sort of get stuck somewhere on the way, Yeah. Like that. Does that answer the question? Yeah? Any other question? Yes.
How do we develop humility and without letting it, become or lead to self-deprecation, or is it good if it leads to that?
In this regards, there are 3 points to consider. One is that one should think, I have no qualification. I am so fallen. Then one should think, and anyone, I have therefore, because I'm so fallen, how can I rise above all this? And then there is the final point. But I have received the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So this is how a devotee is not becoming depressed. You look at Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and he says, I'm lower than a worm in stool. I mean, what would a psychiatrist say about that, you know? And then next he says, anybody who gets in my association will lose all their pious credits. I mean, this man is an acute case, you know what I mean? It's like, is there any place in any... maybe he needs some rest for a while in a nice little hospital. But then the third verse is, but how amazing it is that a person like I has received the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So that element changes everything. And this is found in this mood of what's the verse called again? One moment. It's a type of prayer mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion, and I just now try to remember the Sanskrit for it. No, it's not Dainya. Dainya is humility, but there is a particular type of prayer. There's two types of prayer mentioned under the 64 arts or limbs of devotional service. One is Vandanam, reciting prayers of the previous acharyas, and the other one is praying from the heart, and amongst them there is this prayer where one is praying, and Dainya Bodhika is an element of that, where one sees himself as low and fallen, but appreciating that he has the mercy of others. Sanskrit will come a little later, just chalakya. The time is a factor, because these kind of seminars, they can go till deep in the night. And it is... we have here in the first part discussed the Hansaduta a little bit. And as you see, it's an interesting story and an interesting metaphor. Now, let me add a little context to the whole thing. Rupa Goswami wrote this. There is a book of O.B.L. Kapoor, who was also known as Adi Keshava, a god brother of Srila Prabhupada, who became an academic. And he wrote something about the early life of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis. And he's explaining how they were living in Ramakeli. Ramakeli was their own residence, a village not far from Goda, which was the capital of the Muslim rulers, the Nawab Hussain Shah. Actually, there were many Hindus who were engaged in the service of the Nawab Hussain Shah, not only Rupa and Sanatan. And actually, if you trace it out, there are many devotees amongst the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who were all working for the government of the Nawab Hussain Shah. I read an article about that recently from a professor who has recently passed away named Joseph O'Connell, who was an expert on Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and Prabhupada liked him very much. And Joseph O'Connell was saying that there were many Vaishnavas in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, and he gave a list. He said, for example, Sivananda Sen, he was a zamindar, he was a tax collector for the government. There was Suryadas Sarakela, the brother of Gauridas Pandit, and the wife of Nityananda was the daughter of of Suryadas. So, in this way, many were actually in the government service of the Nawab. Rupa and Sanatan, they lived in the village Ramakeli, situated on the bank of the Ganga. These days, over the old dirt roads that connect Ramakeli with Goda, it takes about 45 minutes by car. I don't know exactly how long it took at the time of Rupa Goswami. But O.B.L. Kapoor writes how it was one night. It was a terrible night. A terrible night with rain, thunder and storm. The type of night that not even an owl would go outside. And just at that night, a palanquin was being carried by 4 carriers. They came past the house of a barber, and the barber said out loud, who in the world would be traveling in this kind of weather when not even an owl comes out on the road? His wife said, who else but a dog or a slave of the king? So it is said that inside the palanquin was Rupa Goswami, who was being carried to the court of the Nawab. Now, whether there actually was a barber and his wife, I don't know. But that there was a Rupa Goswami who was carried in a palanquin from Ramakeli to Goda, that's for sure. And that Rupa Goswami was dressed like a Muslim, that is for sure. And that Rupa Goswami was having these 2 identities. And one identity was his identity as being a servant in the government and living in royal opulence in Ramakeli. That was one identity, dressed in Muslim dress. Some are even saying he was married, but there is no further evidence of that. But it could be. It could be. So, how much was Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, how much did they become like Muslims? At least part of the time, they were living like that. And yet, there was Ramakeli. And in Ramakeli, there was a deity of Madan Mohan. But how can it be? I said, no, they had a deity of Madan Mohan, but how can they have a deity of Madan Mohan when even before they went to Vrindavan or anything? Later, Sanatana Goswami went to Vrindavan and started the deity Madan Mohan. He named that deity also later Madan Mohan. Because already his deity was Madan Mohan in Ramakeli. And there was already a Radha Kund, a Shama Kund that they made, a Lalita Kund, a Vishaka Kund, a Chitra Kund. They were already making the entire sacred kundas of Vrindavan, even before they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only after meeting Rupa and Sanatan, went to Vrindavan. So and only after he came into Vrindavan did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discover Radha Kund. So how amazing that they already had a Radha Kund and a Shama Kund even before Mahaprabhu had gone to Vrindavan, discovered it. Yes, through Shastra, through Bhagavatam, no doubt. Bhakti Ratnakara explains that when Sanatana Goswami was only a young man, that once he had a dream. And in this dream, a Brahmana came. And that Brahmana presented him with a manuscript of Srimad Bhagavatam. It said that at that time Sanatana Goswami was greatly ecstatic because getting a Bhagavatam wasn't like, you just go and buy a Bhagavatam. No. Manuscripts were hand copied. And who had a private copy of the Bhagavatam? That was rare. But somehow or other Sanatana Goswami dreamt that he was given a copy of the Bhagavatam. Then he woke up, oh, it was only a dream. Shishigonitai ki jai. It was only a dream. But later, that same day, so later that same day, that Brahmana who had presented the Bhagavatam actually came and gave Sanatana Goswami the Bhagavatam. So when he was a young man, he got the Bhagavatam in a mystical way. And therefore, it is said later in the Stavamala, Sanatana Goswami writes, the Bhagavatam became my constant companion. And in this way, in Ramakeli, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami were listening to the Bhagavatam. So this is our second theme that we are discussing actually in this seminar, and that is the tension or the dual identity of Rupa and Sanatana. How on the one hand they were acting like Muslims, and on the other hand how internally they were great devotees. Because this Hansaduta was written before Rupa Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, that is interesting. With that, we will end today, and you can turn to the deities, and tomorrow we will continue. Thank you very much. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Sri Hansaduta ki jai.